Does God know the future? That's the first question. Does God know the future, like my next movement, my next idea? If so, if He knows the future, why won't He tamper it? I know, like He doesn't tamper with us, free will.
Ken?
Why doesn't He tamper? If it's for the better good, why wouldn't He tamper? Let's say,
So the Akadosh Baruch Hu knows the past, the present, and the future, where to Him it's all the same. There is no past, there is no present, there is no future for Him. It's all the same status. It's the same thing as if we could explain, for example, we have, psychologically speaking, we have a conscious, a unconscious, and a subconscious. So there's something that, the conscious is something that immediately you're thinking about right now. The question you thought about is, you're consciously asking it, you know it's in the tip of your tongue. The unconscious is things that are repressed memories from a long, long time ago. But if you think about it long enough, you can get it. Subconscious is things that you don't even realize you know, but you've seen it or did it at some point in your life, and when push comes to shove, it'll come up. When a person is alive, he has to stretch a little bit, he has to work a little bit to use some different parts of his mind. But if a person passes away, or perhaps a person loses consciousness, and he has, let's say, a near-death experience, or he dreams and he knows he's dreaming, he could literally feel all three of them at the same time, as if they're the same. Why? Because the soul is not limited to what the body is. The body is limited that you could only use one or another at different times. The soul has no limitation. When you know you're dreaming, you can use a lot of different things if you know how to do it. Yes, you could do a lot of interesting things if you know you're dreaming. You could fly, you could create a dream, you could create all types of things. Some of the Chachamim were able to use their dreams to go up to Shamayim and see what happens in Shamayim and get all types of interesting things over there. There's many Sipurei Tzadikim of Chachamim that would literally go to heaven and see what's over there. Now, the Akadosh Baruch Hu, le'avdil, from us, for Him it's not, there's no conscious, subconscious, unconscious, no such thing. There's also no past, present, and future. But just like we, in a status of, let's say, the neshama, there is no difference between us of all of these different states of mind. For Him, there is no difference between anything. For Him, He's the only thing that's actually one. Echad, one, a single thing, the only thing that actually exists that's one is Him. He is not separated from His thoughts. He is His thoughts. He's not separated from His past. He is His past. He's not separated from His future. He is His future. Us, we are separated. Even a human being is separated, where you're made up of 248 different body parts, limbs, and 365 limbs and bones. So the point is that even a human being, that's a single human being, he's made up of parts. The nation is made up of parts. The camera is made up of, everything in the world is made up of parts. The only thing that's single is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Same concept with His past, present, and future. So He knows not, your past, present, and future, but it doesn't mean that you only have one possibility. Meaning you have multiple possibilities. You only have one possibility of your past because it's already over. You have multiple possibilities of your present because that's based on your current decision. And you have countless possibilities of your future which are a result of your actions. So He knows all of those possibilities. And He doesn't tamper with which one you're going to choose. He just knows that you choose this, you're going to go here. You choose this, you're going to go here. You choose this, you're going to go here. And to Him, all of them are the same. In essence, He already sees all of them live out. All of them play out simultaneously. So when you choose something, it's different for you, but for Him it's the same. It's very complicated. To such an extent, the Rambam that actually details a little bit more than I just did, he writes it in Shmona Prakim. There's a book called Shmona Prakim, which is where we learn about the 13 principles of faith, and also the commentary in Pirkei Avot, and also different details about creation that the Rambam wrote. And this is in the last chapter, 7th and 8th chapter. And he writes, I'm only going to write about free will because I know people are going to ask, but in reality, it's impossible for us to understand it. The only way that you could actually understand free will is by being God Himself. This is the highest capacity that you can understand, which is what I just explained to you. There's some more details that the Rambam explains, but and I'm summarizing it, but in essence, your human mind can never truly understand how free will acts, because you're limited as a human. But this is in essence how it is, and I gave you guys the story of how, or the example of how it works if I write something, the future in an envelope. You guys remember that part? Okay, so let's say, for example, we'll give you this. Let's say I tell you I know the future. Okay, so I write the future on a piece of paper, I put it in an envelope, and we put it in a safety box, safe deposit box. I tell you, go do whatever you want. At the end of the week, you come back, okay, there's a whole thing, 100 people come, let's see what's in the box. We take out the envelope, we open the envelope, we see what's in the envelope, and what I wrote down already a week ago is every single thing that you did during that week. Now, the fact that I knew it before it happened, did that change your actions? No. You still did whatever you did. I knew it, but I didn't change it. Why doesn't Hashem, why does the Hashem that knows all the possibilities of the future, why doesn't he just steer you in the right way? Why doesn't he just take the girl that's immodest out of the equation and just throw her to Jamaica or something so you can go to work freely and without sinning? Why? Because that takes away your free choice. The only way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could give you Gan Eden is if you earn it. You have to earn it by doing mitzvot. If you do a mitzvah by not looking, then Hashem says, my son didn't look, okay, that's another $500 billion in spiritual dollars in Gan Eden. Why? Because he didn't look once. Oh, he didn't go to Las Vegas? Oh, that's another $500 zillion in Gan Eden because he didn't go, he didn't put himself in a test, and so on and so forth. So he has to reward you for something. And that's why he gives you those tests, and he doesn't alter your moves.
We don't get rewarded, like, let's say he's not going to reward us in our future, basically. Like, let's say we do something good, we did like a lot of good in our lives. He's not going to help us, camper us in the right direction?
Oh yes, well it says in the Gemara, Abali iter mesein biyado, somebody that comes to become purified, somebody that comes to try to do tshuva, Kadosh Baruch Hu gives him a hand. Abali tameh putchim lo. But someone that tries to become impure, somebody that tries to do bad things, Hashem also helps him. Meaning, if you want to do good things, Hashem will give you plenty of opportunities to do good things. For example, you want to give tzedakah. You want to give tzedakah, you want to be generous. So what's Hashem going to do? He's going to send you different opportunities. All of a sudden, no one ever knocked on your door. For 10 years, you live in this house. But you have this gut feeling, you feel like you need to give something. You feel like you need to give something, all of a sudden, yes, sir, I have a daughter, she needs money, we have a wedding, I have this. All of a sudden, first time, 10 years, somebody knocked on your door. Why? You wanted to give tzedakah. Kadosh Baruch Hu could read your mind. He sent you somebody. Now, you didn't give him everything. You didn't give him everything. You want to get, so Hashem sends you another opportunity. All of a sudden, you get an email. All of a sudden, you get an opportunity. But then, you ran out of money. You gave the tzedakah, you ran out of money. So what does Hashem do? Oh, I'll give you more money. He gives you, all of a sudden, you have a new client. That new client just gave you an extra $50,000. If you still remember Hashem and you still have this desire to give tzedakah, guess what? You give tzedakah, Hashem's going to give you more money. So you come to become purified, and Hashem is going to help you become purified. On the other hand, someone that wants to sin, someone that he listens about the things that we talk about, wasting seed and the Gilui Arayot and so on and so forth, all the sins of the Torah, and he says, shtuyot, nonsense. This is nonsense. Who's going to protect their brit in this generation? Come on, well, I'm going to stop watching movies. Come on, this, Rabbi, you're crazy, you're this or that. Guess what? That guy, all of the zonot of all an entire country are going to come to his door. Every 5 seconds, some girl's going to call him. You want to go out, honey? All of a sudden, he became Tom Cruise. Everybody wants to go out with him. All of a sudden, Mr. Popular. The guy has a nose over here and an ear over here, but all of a sudden, everybody finds him beautiful. Wow, you're so beautiful. You're so handsome. What a handsome. Gargamel is better than him. But all of a sudden, Mrs. Wonderful wants to talk. Why? Because he wants to sin. Hashem says, you want to sin? I'll give you the girl. I'll give you the girl. You want to sin? I'll help you sin. Why? You want to sin? I'll help you sin. You want to do mitzvah? I'll help you do mitzvah. But even more so, what happens if somebody made a sin? What if he murdered somebody? What if he murdered somebody? Is there any chance that Hashem is going to help him too? The answer is yes. How yes? The Torah Kedusha tells us that sometimes somebody murders somebody accidentally. Accident. He didn't shoot him in the face and, on purpose. He was working at the top of the building and he had some tools. Accidentally, his leg pushed one of the tools the hammer fell from the 4th, 5th story, and Hashem Erechem, it fell on somebody's head, and he died. He murdered him, technically, killed him, but not on purpose. So according to the Torah, at the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, the family of the person that accidentally died has the right to kill him. But they don't want him to kill him. So what do? They say, you killed him accidentally, you go to the mountains. Why? The family's not allowed to go to the mountains. Or when can I come back? When can I come back to my family? When can I come back to my wife and kids, my job, my company, my this? Oh, you could only come back when it's forbidden for them to kill you. Oh, when is that? When the Kohen Gadol, the biggest tzaddik of the nation, when he dies. When he dies, then you can come back. So now, Rabotai, all of the people in this mountain, what do they do all day? They all pray for the biggest tzaddik in the world to die. Why? Because they want to come back to their families. So what happens? So the mothers of the Kohen Gadol, the mother of the Kohen Gadol, every so often she would go to the mountain with a bunch of presents for all the people, giving food and clothes and all types of stuff. Why? Don't pray for my son to die. Don't pray for my son to die. So now, how would this work? Sometimes the Kohen Gadol would die literally a short while after somebody killed somebody. Somebody went to that city, and a short while later the Kohen Gadol would die. It was a new Kohen, he died, finished. But sometimes 80 years pass before the Kohen Gadol died. Meaning this guy spent pretty much his entire life in the mountains. So how does this work? The Gemara tells us, Megalgelin zchut al yedei zakai vechova al yedei chayav. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the benefit, the merits, the reward or the assistance to someone that has a merit, but he also gives somebody a deficit or a loss if he deserves that too. How so? If that guy deserved, he did something, for whatever reason he did something, if he, let's say for example, he really truly accidentally killed a guy. He was really careful. He was on working in a building, but he's really, really careful. And Hashem decreed that this guy's going to die below him. And he chose you to do it, but you didn't really do it on purpose. You were careful. You put everything right. You did everything right, but the guy still died. Because of that, if this happened, that guy, I would actually have the Kohen Gadol die relatively soon. Why? Because you don't deserve to be in those mountains for 80 years. But if you were really not careful, if you're one of these people that have to keep telling you every week, hey, put the tools back. Hey, be careful. Hey, stop throwing stuff in the air. And you weren't careful, so in reality, yes, it was an accident, but it was an accident as a result of carelessness. So then you do deserve to be in the mountains for 80 years. So even that, even the murderer, Hashem helps him too. Needless to say, he also decrees who the Kohen is going to be, whether it's a young Kohen or old Kohen, or if the mom deserves it, the mother of the Kohen deserves to see her son die or not. So meaning that HaKadosh Baruch Hu manages the world to such precision that it's impossible for us to comprehend. Point being is, he doesn't change your choice, but the world around you will operate based on your actions. Yes?
So, how exactly do you have free choice if, like, you were built in a way that at the end of the day you do the result is from Hashem, like the way He created you.
Yes.
So, like, how exactly do you have free choice? Because you were built in a way to choose that exact specific like lane, or like, you know.
Yes. So the good question. The Zohar Kadosh says that each person is born with certain desires. Some of us have universal desires, and some of us have our own personal desires that are unique to us. Universal desires, we have desires to eat, some people more, some people less. Universal desires would be, we want to be liked. Some people care more or less for it, but generally speaking, people want to be liked, people need to eat, people need to be intimate, and so on and so forth. But then there are independent. There are certain things that you have an inclination for that somebody else doesn't. For example, there are certain people that have a desire to see blood. They have a desire to see blood. They get something in their brain works differently once they see blood. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you that. He gave you that desire that you get some sort of pleasure as a result of seeing blood. Now, automatically, all of us think with our movie Hollywood minds, thinking, wow, this guy's going to be a murderer, he's going to kill people. This guy. No, not necessarily. He can do that. He can become a serial killer. He can become a murderer. He can become one of these crazy school shooting kids. He can be. Or he could simply be a butcher. He could be a butcher and see blood. Or he could be a surgeon. He could be a surgeon, make $800,000 a year by performing surgery and still get the same pleasure seeing blood. But one is, murder is not allowed. It's forbidden by the Torah and it's forbidden by the law. And another is, not only it's allowed, it's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to be a kosher butcher. It's a mitzvah to be a doctor that actually keeps Shabbat, unless he has to for pikuach nefesh. It's a mitzvah to do these things. One is a sin, one is a mitzvah. So the point is that Hashem instilled in you certain natures within you independently, and it's your free choice to choose how you're going to use this talent, this desire, and so on. So he didn't instill in you this desire where there's no way for you to do something good out of it. To such an extent that there's no good in the world that you can't enjoy. The Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, you guys heard of Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes? Yeah, you heard? Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes had a wife. Her name was Bruria. Bruria was a very, very smart woman. She even won a few debates against some of the other Chachamim. One day she said to Rabbi Meir, she goes, wait a minute. You say in the Torah that Hashem did not put us in a situation where there's something in the world that we can't enjoy in a kosher way. So she says, I want to enjoy pig. I want to enjoy the taste of pig. Now you can't say the pig is kosher for shlom bayit. No, I'm going to give my wife pig, and I'm going to give her a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich because of shlom bayit. You can't do that. So Rabbi Meir says, no problem. He sent somebody to go get a certain type of fish that's found in Africa. That's called shibuta. And that fish, after you cook it, tastes exactly like bacon. Exactly like bacon, same thing. But it's kosher, it's a kosher fish. By the way, there's also a certain duck that's found in Japan till this day. There's a certain duck in Japan, that if you cook it, it tastes exactly like bacon. Today, there's also soy that you can flavor like bacon, and there's also turkey bacon, and so on and so forth. The point is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not have us lose anything as a result of the mitzvot. We just have to know how to enjoy different things in a kosher way. Every desire that you do, you could do it in a kosher way, you could do it in a non-kosher way. Rabbi again said to a bunch of soldiers, he says, listen, I do everything that you do. The only difference is, you're going to go to Gehenom for it, I'm going to go to Gan Eden for it. So yeah, that's not fair. That's not fair. Why am I going to go to Gehenom, you're going to Gan Eden? He goes, okay, you eat? He goes, yeah, I eat also. He goes, so what's the difference? He goes, when you eat non-kosher. I eat kosher. So I eat, you eat. It's both good. But my food is kosher. When you eat, you don't even say a blessing to Hashem. I say a blessing to Hashem. Now, you want to be, what else do you want to do? You want to have fun? You have fun. How do you have fun? What, you want to have a wife? No, I have a wife also. You're going to go to Gehenom for your wife. I'm going to go to Gan Eden for my wife. Why? My wife goes to the mikveh. I'm allowed to be with her. You touch and do whatever you want. Same exact performance, but there's a sin, there's a mitzvah. There's a sin, there's a mitzvah. Meaning, every single thing that you want to do, you can do in a kosher way. In a kosher way. You just need to know how to do it. You're allowed to play sports during the week. You're allowed to eat kosher food. You're allowed to have fun, kosher fun. The point is that if you understand the Torah, you can actually have a fantastic life in this world and the next. It just has to be a kosher way to do it. Has to be a kosher way to do it. And if you have Yirat Shamayim, you're afraid of going against Hashem, you'll always find a way to do it, because like I said, someone that tries to become purified, Hashem will help him. So if you're trying to get closer and closer to Hashem, Hashem will help you. Next question.
Same, wait, just a little note on it. So you're saying that from your uprising, you get to pick your choices, right? Like all your surroundings, all the environment. So in reality, would that really be free will then? Because because God's already giving you like an image to go off, like He's giving you a background. So everything you know, because He put you in those situations.
Ken?
And you're making your answer from those. So it's not really free will in reality, you know?
It is and it isn't. Meaning that it's a cause and effect. If, let's say, for example, I go to work, I'll get money. I know that. If I don't go to work, I won't get money. If I do a mitzvah, there's a schar for that mitzvah. There's a reward for that mitzvah. What is the reward for a mitzvah? Schar mitzvah, mitzvah. The reward for a mitzvah is another mitzvah. You do a mitzvah, so Hashem wants to reward you. What? He gives you an opportunity to do another mitzvah. That's why when somebody made a sin by accident, shogig, the Torah says, go bring a korban, bring a sacrifice to the Bet HaMikdash. Why? Why do I need? Why? What does the animal have to do with my sin? The cow didn't sin. I sinned. Why does the animal have to die? Because just like there's a reward of a mitzvah is a mitzvah, the punishment for a sin is a sin, which means that now that I sinned by turning on the light on Shabbat accidentally, it's still a sin, even though it's an accident. It's a sin nonetheless. So that means that the punishment for that sin would be an opportunity to make another sin. So the Chachamim say in the Torah, immediately, right after you made the accidental sin, go bring a sacrifice to the Bet HaMikdash. Why? That's a mitzvah. Break the chain. Why? Before you make your next sin, go make a mitzvah by bringing that sacrifice. Once you make that sacrifice, that's a mitzvah, you broke the chain. That means that immediately after you've actually made that mitzvah of the sacrifice, you'll have an opportunity to make a mitzvah instead of an avera. Which means that if you are on a roll of making mitzvot, Hashem will continue giving you more and more opportunities to make more mitzvot. If you're like chafif, you're like, whenever I get a chance, I'll do a mitzvah. Whenever I get a chance, maybe I'll do an avera. Then guess what? You're not going to survive the week. You're not going to survive the week. Why? Because there's only going to be sins coming. So a person that chases mitzvot, just like David HaMelech says in the Torah, please I want to chase mitzvot my whole life. I want to chase mitzvot. Why does he want to chase mitzvot? Because he knows, if I make an avera, I'll have an opportunity to make another one. And another one, and who knows where I'm going to end. And that's also why the kids, young people, old people, when they go off the derech, when somebody that's religious, born religious, you know, the hat, the shtreimel, the whole thing, the whole nine, and then one day you see this guy dancing at gay clubs. Like, what just happened here? What happened here? Like, how did you go from here to here? You went from Gan Eden to Gehinom in a week? Like, what happened? How does it go? How does it happen, this stuff? It happens in a very simple way, Rabotai. Same exact thing, just a funnier thing, but generally the same explanation. Schar mitzvah mitzvah, schar avera avera. If a person makes a sin and simply doesn't care, he gets punished with an opportunity to make another sin. So the guy that went off the derech by just, you know what, I'm going to smoke a cigarette on Shabbat when no one's looking. So he smoked a cigarette on Shabbat, no one looked. No one saw except Hashem. But then all of a sudden, Shabbat comes out, and some goya comes there and says, hey cutie, what are you doing with that big hat of yours? And all of a sudden she wants to be his girlfriend. All of a sudden she wants to be his girlfriend. She never saw a Jew in her life, but she likes the hat. So now he smoked a cigarette on Shabbat, but now he has a goya girlfriend. And where does she want to go? She goes, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let's go to the casino. Okay, fine. So then they go to the casino together. So you get another avira. And then the casino, and then this, and then that. And Hashem Yerachem, what happens? After 3 weeks, this guy's made so many avirot, he doesn't even remember what he used to look like. He used to look like a chassid, now he walks around with a tank top and shorts. The parents see him like, Hashem Yerachem, what happened to you? How did you go from here to here? Stop paying attention. You stop paying attention to the fact that you're making avirot, and that's how it works. The Satan will take a person literally from Gan Eden all the way to the bottom of Gehinom. Why? That's how the system works. So if you watch yourself, you pay attention to the things that you do. Every time you make a mitzvah, good, look for the next one. Every time you make a mistake, you make an avirah, you look at the girl that's half naked, you looked at her, okay, chatanu avinu shen, oh, Hashem, I'm sorry. Why? You broke. When you say I'm sorry for the sin, that's a mitzvah. That's a mitzvah. So guess what? Instead of Hashem sending you another girl, He's going to send you an opportunity to do mitzvah. You have to do tshuva constantly. constantly. We can't bring a cow to the Bet HaMikdash. There's no Bet HaMikdash today. But we could say, I'm sorry. When we say, I'm sorry, that's the same thing. That's the point of the cows, to say, I'm sorry. You say, I'm sorry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for making a sin, I'll give you an opportunity to do a mitzvah. And you'll see little by little that it's a cause and effect that, yes, you can in essence dictate what kind of opportunities you have in your life, whether you'll have more opportunities for mitzvot than avirot, but again, it's only if you pay close attention. Yes?
If God controls history and events, how do we have free will? Like, how do all the historical figures that do what they do, if it's all being controlled by God?
So, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not control history in a sense that you're explaining it. Meaning, yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world and nothing is beyond him. But, Akol midei shamayim chutz mi'irat shamayim, the Chachamim say. Everything is from heaven except the fear of heaven. Meaning that he allows human beings to make free choice. And by their own free choice, he has certain things happen. There are certain cases, only a couple of cases that I can remember off the top of my head, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu removes the free choice. Generally speaking, the vast majority of the population in the world, from the beginning of time all the way until Mashiach come, have free choice undisturbed. They choose whatever they choose, and Hashem reacts based on their choice. He chose to not go to shul, chose to just stay home. Guess what? He forgot to even pray at home. Why? Hashem made him tired, he went to sleep. He chose that he's going to watch TV. Hashem put some immodest woman on the TV. He chose to, not check if it's kosher or not. Hashem made sure it's not kosher. Why? Because you didn't check. If you would have checked, then maybe it would have made me kosher. I would have allowed you to enjoy something you wanted. So people make choices. Hashem reacts to those choices. Generally speaking, throughout all of time, the vast majority of the population have free choice. There are only two cases that I know of, off the top of my head, that the free choice is removed. And those cases are, one, leaders. Leaders of nations, once somebody becomes a major leader of a nation, whether it's Paro, or Obama, or Donald Trump, or Benjamin Netanyahu, or Putin, or any of these people that lead countries, their free choice is tampered with. Sometimes completely removed. Why? These are the stick figures that Hashem uses to run his world. When bad things are happening to Am Yisrael, they're happening by some stick figure. Somebody's doing it. Whether it's Obama, or Osama, or someone in between them, somebody's doing it. Hashem is using that person as the stick against Am Yisrael. So those leaders have their free choice removed. There's a couple of examples that we see in the Torah. Paro had his free choice removed. Sichon, the king Sichon had his free choice removed. Even Nebuchadnezzar has his free choice altered. Point being is that when a leader becomes a leader, they may have had good intentions going into office, but once they're in office, they're simply a puppet of Hashem. They have free choice between their day-to-day life and between them and their wife, them and their kids, to eat, not to eat, to go to the bathroom, not go to the bathroom, that stuff, yeah. But as far as what they decide, to press the nuclear weapon or not, to go attack Afghanistan or not, to vote yes or no against Israel or not, Hashem decides that. Why? Because these are people that Hashem uses to run the world. The only other time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu removes the free choice is as a punishment. And that I read to you guys about 2 months ago from the Rambam, Ilchot Shuvah. He says that the worst punishment that exists in this world is when Hashem decides He does not want you to do Shuvah. So He allows you to live and simply not want to do Shuvah under any condition. Even if you have Moshe Rabbeinu come to your house, knock on your door. Hey, I'm Moshe, here's the 10 Commandments. Say, yeah, Moshe, I'm not interested. Meaning, a person can see the entire truth and still not do tshuva. Why? Hashem doesn't want it. Doesn't want that tshuva. The person can live a life without even thinking that what they're doing is wrong. Why? Because the punishment for such a person is that Hashem does not want him to do tshuva. He'll let them live a long life to make more sins so He can punish them worse. And this is in the Rambam.
רגע.
אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל אשר יפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכו עוד לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה, איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
מיאמי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעביר לו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
כן.